In the opening scene, we are introduced to Danny Rourke, a detective from the Austin Police Department who is currently attending a therapy session. During the session, he reflects on the traumatic event of his 7-year-old daughter named Minnie being abducted, which ultimately led to the breakdown of his marriage. It is revealed that he was at a park watching his daughter play when he got distracted for a few seconds. If only he didn't have such a thing for pinwheels. Upon turning back around, she discovered that Minnie had disappeared. The person responsible for the abduction has been apprehended, but was not charged as he was deemed mentally unstable. Following the therapy session, Danny is picked up by his coworker Nix, who informs him that they have received an anonymous tip-off call regarding an upcoming bank heist targeting a specific safe deposit box. According to Nix, the recent string of bank robberies has involved the same bank, but at different branches. However, the strange thing about this robbery is that the thief is specifically targeting a safety deposit box that does not contain any money. Maybe it has pinwheels. Upon their arrival outside the bank, Danny and Nix enter a police van to maintain surveillance on people both inside and outside the building. During their stakeout, they observe a mysterious man named Lev Delaraine, who seems to possess an uncanny ability to easily hypnotize people. The power is demonstrated when he hypnotizes a woman, causing her to feel so hot that she removes her shirt on the street. And people say hypnotism is for nerds. Delaraine then hypnotizes some bank employees and even police officers who obediently follow his commands as he enters the bank. Sensing something amiss, Danny quickly exits the van and gets into the bank, pretending to open a bank account. He promptly makes his way to the deposit box room and unlocks the targeted safe. To his surprise, he discovers a photograph of Minnie, along with the message, "Find Lev Delaraine," written on it. I can already tell this movie is going to have a bad twist. Meanwhile, Delaraine stands at the counter line when the bank security guards suddenly erupt into chaos. At the same time, he hypnotizes a bank employee, who then heads into the safety deposit room to retrieve the targeted box. Danny, who is already present in the room, aims his gun at the employee and demands that she freeze. However, she disregards his order and continues her search for the desired box. The hypnotized guards also enter the room and shoot Danny, causing him to collapse. But fortunately, his bulletproof vest shields him from harm. Following this incident, both the employee and the security guards exit the bank and board a van, intending to escape. Simultaneously, the woman who had experienced intense heat earlier stands in the middle of the road. This results in several accidents, including one involving the van carrying the bank employee and the security guards. Shortly after, Delaraine retrieves the safety deposit box from the deceased bank employee and plants a timed bomb right before making his escape. Danny, accompanied by two of his juniors, spots Delaraine and chases after him. They eventually manage to corner him at a rooftop. As the two detectives approach to handcuff him, Delaraine suddenly uses his hypnotic abilities and manipulates them into firing their weapons on each other. Danny seems really bent out of shape about this. Delaraine then leaps off the building, swiftly vanishing from sight. After the chaos ends, Nix arrives at the scene and informs Danny that all the witnesses have no recollection of the events due to the effects of hypnosis. Danny, who is convinced that the heist is somehow connected to his daughter's disappearance, embarks on his own investigation. On the same night, Nix contacts him and relays the results of a trace conducted on the previous tip-off call. Wasting no time, Danny proceeds to the specified location and finds a therapy facility owned by a fortune teller named Diana Cruz. He tells her about the purpose of his visit, and the two start a conversation. But when Danny mentions the name Delaraine, she becomes scared and orders him to leave the place immediately. Unbeknownst to them, Delaraine lurks outside the facility. He sneaks up behind a biker and hypnotizes him, causing him to ride a motorcycle through Diana's window. The man says, "Delaraine will not stop," before committing the unthinkable in a weird and unconvincing way. Following the incident, Danny takes Diana into protective custody and proceeds to question her. The latter discloses that both the bank heist and the recent incident are the results of Delaraine exploiting his supernatural abilities. She explains that Delaraine is a hypnotist with the capability to manipulate and control minds using a psychic bandwidth. Danny asks how she knows so much about hypnotics, to which she replies that she is also one of them. According to Diana, both she and Deloraine underwent training in a covert government hypnosis division designed to harness mind control. However, Deloraine became the most powerful disciple and ultimately turned to evil. Oh my god. It's Star Wars for street magicians, and Ben Affleck is pissed. Deloraine is now looking to gain control over the whole country. Hearing all of this, Nix, who is also present there, simply chuckles, like a good proxy for the audience. He doesn't believe in all of this and claims that she's joking. In response, Diana hypnotizes Nix, compelling him to step outside for fresh air. After this, she reveals that Danny possesses a strong immunity to mind control, perhaps because he is severely depressed these days. Diana knows this because she tried to hypnotize him earlier, but was unsuccessful. On the other hand, Deloraine appears outside the police station and hypnotizes Nix. He then orders the poor guy to attack his friends. As Nix enters the investigation room, Diana quickly realizes that something is wrong with him, so she suggests that they run away. She claims that Nix will not regain consciousness until he fulfills his assigned task. Despite Diana's advice, Danny tries to stop his friend and even handcuffs him. However, Nix continues his desperate attempts to reach for his gun, ignoring the pain given by the handcuffs. When the situation gets out of hand, Diana grabs Nix's gun and shoots him in the head, killing him on the spot. Fortunately, Danny is a sociopath, and this barely seems to affect him at all. The news of Nix's untimely demise quickly spreads through television broadcasts, and Danny and Diana are shown as the perpetrators. With no options left, Diana proposes that they travel to Mexico, where she knows someone capable of thwarting Deloraine. Danny is skeptical about the idea, but he has no choice but to agree. In the next scene, the duo is seen at a local coffee shop when a sheriff enters. He instantly recognizes them, but before he can react, Diana manages to hypnotize him. At the same time, Deloraine contacts Diana through the sheriff's walkie-talkie, freaking her out. Our protagonists attempt to flee, but right then, Deloraine arrives with 2 hypnotized police officers. Just when it appears as if Danny and Diana are about to be apprehended, the hypnotized sheriff from earlier shows up in the nick of time and saves them. Later, during their journey to Mexico, Diana reveals to Danny that he possesses a psychic block that makes it more challenging for hypnotists to control him, probably because his ass is so depressed. The only one who can overcome this barrier is Deloraine. As the two approach Mexico City, they come across a police patrol, but then again, Diana skillfully uses her abilities to maneuver past them. Ultimately, they reach their destination, Jeremiah, an old friend of Diana's from their days in the Division. As they engage in conversation, Jeremiah unveils the truth that Deloraine is in search of Domino, a potent weapon developed by the Division with the power to manipulate any hypnotist in the world. It turns out that the Domino project was divided into several parts and stored in safe deposit boxes across multiple banks. According to Jeremiah, if Deloraine finds all the parts of it, there will be no stopping him. This movie, man. He then unexpectedly asks for the picture of Minnie, which Danny had acquired from the bank earlier. This raises suspicion in Diana's mind, and it is soon confirmed when Jeremiah morphs into Deloraine. It turns out he had been using his abilities to transform himself into a totally different person. Acting quickly, Danny and Diana flee the scene, with Deloraine giving chase through an intricately constructed hypnotic environment. Many officers and random citizens also join in the chase. Not long after, our protagonists find themselves cornered, but just as they are about to be captured, Danny taps into his own reserve of hypnotic power and takes control of the police officers, directing them to apprehend Deloraine instead. He just thought about the pinwheels and Rain Manned that shit. After the danger is averted, Danny is filled with confusion, unable to understand what he just did. Diana is also equally perplexed, so she suggests that they seek assistance from River, a secret hacker who was once her friend within the Division. Later, they arrive at his hideout and explain their predicament to him. River agrees to help them and uses his hacking expertise to delve deep into Danny's data. Shockingly, he uncovers a startling revelation. Danny's wife, Vivian, is actually a member of the same hypnosis division, just like Diana. As the three are talking, Danny receives a call from Deloraine, who attempts to hypnotize him over the phone, urging him to execute Diana. However, Danny somehow manages to resist the hypnotic influence and just hangs up on his ass. Later, while River and Diana are asleep, Danny personally checks the database and learns something shocking. His daughter Minnie is actually Domino, the dangerous weapon, and Diana is none other than his wife, Vivian. What did I tell you about the twists? With this, the entire room around him begins to unravel, showing that all the previous events were mere hypnotic constructs. It becomes clear that Danny had been under hypnosis throughout his entire journey. At this point, Diana walks out and reminds him that he was the one who took their daughter away, motivated by the desire to shield her from the allure of hypnotic realms. Soon after, Danny wakes up in a large room populated by division agents, all of whom he has seen throughout the constructed story, including Nix and Delrain. Scared, Danny runs out of the premises, only to stumble upon the props and materials that had been used to create the illusion of reality, realizing that they were mere scenarios. Here it is revealed that Danny's memories had been wiped, erasing any recollection of Minnie's whereabouts. So, the division had subjected him to these constructed experiences in an attempt to trigger his memories. Afterwards, Danny is once again put through the same hypnotic construct, reliving the therapy session and the bank heist, just as before. The events unfold smoothly, mirroring the beginning of the film. However, as Danny reaches the point of entering the bank, he taps into his own power and breaks free from the hypnotic spell, escaping from the clutches of the division. In this moment, both Delrain and Diana realize that the phrase in the photo, "Find Lev Delrain," does not refer to a person, but rather to Deer Valley Lane, which turns out to be the location of a ranch where Danny's foster parents have been hiding Minnie for all those 3 years. Holy piss. After driving for a while, Danny arrives at his parents' house and experiences a heartwarming reunion with his now-grown daughter, Minnie. However, their joyous moment doesn't last long. As Delrain and his team members arrive, armed with weapons, they immediately shoot Danny's parents, cruelly finishing them off. In the next scene, Danny and Minnie walk out of the house, making Diana emotional as she is seeing her daughter after such a long separation. Meanwhile, the division surrounds the ranch, but Minnie uses her overpowering hypnotic abilities to make all of them kill each other. She then forces Delrain to commit the unthinkable, Minnie the Pooh dishing out that sweet honey. Finally, it becomes evident that Danny and Diana were the most powerful members of the division in the past. One day, they discovered that their daughter Minnie had inherited even greater strength than themselves. When the division found out about this, they devised a plan to exploit her as a powerful weapon. However, Danny and Diana vehemently opposed this notion. Instead, they chose to protect their daughter by hiding her in the home of Danny's foster parents, while intentionally erasing their own memories for Minnie's safety. The photograph discovered by Danny in the safety deposit box was actually his own creation, serving as a means to remember the whereabouts of his daughter, so that one day he could look for her, defeating the whole purpose of the plan and get his foster parents capped. Back in the present, Minnie assists her mother in regaining her lost memories. It is revealed that Danny and Diana patiently waited more than 3 years for Minnie to fully develop her powers to a level where she could single-handedly defeat the entire division. With their ultimate goal now achieved, the family reunites and decides to live happily ever after. However, in a surprising final scene, it is unveiled that Delrain managed to survive the earlier shootout, as he appears to have cunningly disguised himself as Danny's foster father. What? Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.